All right, so are you ready to like dive deep into Picasso?
Let's do it.
Because I am so ready for this one. Um, I think everyone kind of knows Picasso, like the name, the art, but like I
Mhm.
feel like we only scratched the surface, right?
Yeah, you see the name, you see, like you said, expensive cubism,
Right, exactly.
and you kind of think you know him.
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh yeah, he did that." But there's
Well,
so much more, and you've given me so much good stuff to like go through today, articles, videos,
hmm
even museum notes. Like, let's
absolutely.
just get right into it.
Yeah.
So, like, first off, this guy was like a total prodigy. I mean, mastering like classical painting by 16.
Yeah, and that's what I think is so key about Picasso. He could have just been a fantastic classical painter
Right.
and had a very successful career.
Yeah, totally.
But he chose to break all those rules.
Yeah, it's like he was like, I know how to do this now. Watch me change it.
Exactly. And there's this great anecdote where someone asks him, "What is art?"
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he points to a bull's head that he made out of a bicycle seat and
Yeah.
handlebars.
It's so
I mean,
cool.
how badass is that?
That's the best answer ever.
It really is.
But it's not even just the art. This guy's life was like as wild as his paintings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like the love affairs,
Mm.
his political stances, like this larger than life personality.
You can absolutely trace the threads of his personal life throughout his work.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Well, you look at his Blue Period, for example.
Hmm.
It's so often attributed to the death of his close friend Carlos Casagemas,
Right.
and you see it in the blue hues and his work, the subjects he chose.
Yeah, it's like
But it's
heavy.
sadness.
What and okay, so this kind of blew my mind when I was reading about it. Picasso's blue phase, it like predates the blues music, but you get the same
We
feeling.
do.
Like it's wild how like art can tap into like a feeling.
Yeah, across mediums, across a time.
Like I was even thinking like Miles Davis had a blue period,
Yes, he did.
and he had a song called Blues for Pablo. It's like, whoa.
It really is that shared human experience that's so powerful.
Yeah.
And you see, as Picasso moves beyond the blue palette, his life continues to inform the art. His
Yeah.
rose period, it's warmer colors, themes of love and joy.
Okay.
And you see that coincide with his relationship with Fernando Olivier,
Hmm.
his immersion in the bohemian world of Montmartre.
Yeah. And then he just like drops cubism on the world.
He does.
It's crazy how in 1 year he goes from Boy Leading a Horse, like it's a beautiful traditional piece,
Yeah, beautiful work.
to Les Demoiselles d'Avignon.
Mm-hmm.
And that one even today feels
Yeah, it's
as
raw.
raw and confrontational.
You see so many things converging in that piece.
Okay, like what?
You see Iberian sculpture, for example, which is this ancient art from the Iberian Peninsula
Oh.
known for its stylized forms,
Gotcha.
African masks,
Yeah.
and then just this drive in Picasso to capture multiple perspectives, multiple emotions all at once.
Yeah, I always think of it as like looking at the world through a shattered mirror.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Like you're seeing all these different perspectives.
Right, and think about it too. This was a time of major technological upheaval.
Yeah.
Photography and film were changing how people literally saw the world.
Right.
So painting didn't need to just mimic reality.
Right. So he's like, screw that. I'm going to break it apart.
Exactly.
And with Les Demoiselles, like you really feel it.
You do.
The women staring right at you.
The harsh lines, the
Yeah.
figures broken down, it's challenging you to see the human form in a completely different way.
And it wasn't just a painting. It was like a revolution.
It really was.
It's crazy how like the sharp angles, the fragmented forms, it just felt so modern.
So modern, almost futuristic.
Yeah.
And you see that direct influence of Cubism on Art Deco, which becomes huge in the 20s and 30s.
I know, totally.
It became Cubism for the masses.
Yeah, it was everywhere. Like you see it in architecture, fashion design.
everywhere.
That's wild.
It really.
I mean, even in the sources, they were talking about like an Art Deco hotel.
Mhm.
And then like Chris Brewer, the fashion historian, was talking about how geometric prints in fashion
Absolutely.
were like directly influenced by Picasso.
Yeah.
And then Russell Brown, the architect, compared the angularity of Art Deco buildings to Picasso's like attack on traditional architecture.
Yeah,
It's insane how art can have such a ripple effect.
it really can. And Picasso, he just wasn't content to just revolutionize painting, right?
Right.
The guy was a creative machine.
Oh yeah, he was like constantly pushing the boundaries.
Constantly experimenting with new mediums. I mean, we're talking collages, creating sculptures out of everyday objects.
He even reinvented pottery.
He did.
It's like he couldn't sit still.
I know, it makes you wonder if he ever slept.
Right.
That constant innovation was so defining for Picasso.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about mastering existing forms.
Yeah.
It was about creating new ones.
Totally.
And that spirit, that restless experimentation, it just continues to inspire artists today.
I mean, the sources even mentioned that British sculptor Anthony Caro,
Oh, yeah, huge influence.
hugely influenced by Picasso's approach to like space and form.
Absolutely.
And get this, Caro even created a sculpture based on a Picasso painting.
Really?
Yeah, he took a still life of a table setting
Okay.
and turned it into this massive metal masterpiece.
Wow.
It just shows how his ideas just continue to resonate.
They really do. It's a testament to that originality, you know? He wasn't just creating art, he was creating a whole new way of seeing the world.
Okay, but let's be real. His personal life was just as explosive as his art.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking like whirlwind love affairs, passionate relationships.
Yeah, and let's face it, some pretty messy situations.
Yeah, wasn't always pretty.
No, you can appreciate his artistic genius, you know?
Yeah.
While also recognizing that his personal life was complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
At times troubling.
Totally, and especially his relationships with women, they were.
Intense, passionate, and often fraught with drama.
Yeah, and the sources did not shy away from that at all.
Oh, no.
Like, it's no secret that he had a string of muses and lovers.
Right.
And you can almost trace the evolution of his style
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
through these different women in his life.
Absolutely. Like his marriage to Olga Koklova.
Mm-hmm.
She was a classically trained ballerina.
Right.
And during that time, he produced some of his most traditional works.
Yeah, it's almost like a return to classicism.
It is. There's this sense of order.
Yeah, and harmony.
Yeah,
It's like his art was reflecting the stability that he was seeking.
absolutely. But then, of course, things get a little complicated.
Yeah.
While he was still married to Olga, he meets Marie-Thérèse Walter,
Right.
this young, vibrant woman who becomes his muse and lover.
And his art just explodes.
It becomes more sensual,
Yeah.
more fluid, more alive.
It's palpable. You can feel her presence.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the curves, the colors,
Right.
the distortions of the human form. It's all there.
You can feel that passion.
Yeah. But it's not simple.
No, far from it.
Right? He's juggling a wife and a mistress.
Right.
And then to make things even messier.
He starts an affair with Dora Maar,
Dora Maar.
photographer artist in her own right.
Yeah, and it shifts again.
It does.
With Dora, his style becomes darker.
More fragmented.
Yeah, reflecting all that emotional turmoil.
Yeah, you can see it in pieces like Weeping Woman,
Mm-hmm.
where the distorted features, the sharp lines just convey this anguish and despair.
Yeah, it's almost like you're seeing those different women,
Right.
those different relationships, like battling it out on the canvas.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
His art becomes this messy tapestry,
Yeah,
just woven from the threads of his life.
totally.
And even amid all the drama, the upheaval,
Yeah.
he was still incredibly prolific.
He never stopped.
Never stopped creating paintings, sculptures, drawings, surreal.
That's insane. He was like a creative force of nature.
He was.
Even as his personal life was like imploding, he just kept churning out these masterpieces.
I know. It's like he was channeling all that chaos, all that energy into his art.
Totally.
And, you know, that fearlessness, that drive,
Yeah.
that's part of what makes his work so enduring.
It's true. He wasn't content to just follow the rules.
Right. He wanted to break them, shatter them.
Create something new.
Exactly.
It's like he was saying, screw the rule book.
I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And in doing so, he just changed the course of art history.
Absolutely.
But he also left behind this legacy
Yeah.
of creative courage that continues to inspire.
And it's not just artists who are inspired by him.
No.
It's like that rebellious spirit,
Mm-hmm.
that willingness to push boundaries.
It resonates with people from all walks of life.
Yeah. Whether you're an entrepreneur disrupting an industry,
A scientist challenging conventional wisdom.
yeah, or just somebody who wants to live life on their own terms.
Absolutely.
It's powerful.
He reminds us that the world is full of possibilities
Yeah.
and that the only limits are the ones we impose on ourselves.
And even when he achieved global fame and recognition,
Yeah.
he never stopped pushing his own creative boundaries.
Never stopped.
Like, did you see how he basically reinvented himself as a potter in his later years?
I know, it's amazing.
The guy was in his 70s
I know.
and decided to master a whole new art form,
Just for kicks.
Yeah, just for kicks.
It's amazing.
It's incredible he approached pottery with the same passion.
I know, the same energy
that he brought to his painting and his sculpture.
And he wasn't content to just dabble either.
No, he completely immersed himself.
Completely.
It's like he was saying, age is just a number.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep creating until my very last breath.
Powerful message.
Yeah.
Powerful message, especially in a world that tries to put an expiration date.
On creativity.
Yeah.
And he completely defied those expectations.
Completely.
It's like he showed us that creativity is a lifelong journey.
It is.
You know, and it's never too late to explore new passions.
Absolutely.
Learn new skills. Express yourself in new ways.
And the crazy thing is, even though he was experimenting with all these different mediums,
Yeah.
he never lost that signature style.
You can always tell a Picasso.
Always. Whether it's an act of painting, a sculpture, or a ceramic plate.
There's that unique way of seeing the world.
It's like a stick bowl.
Yeah, that ability to deconstruct and reconstruct reality.
Right.
Playful.
Playful yet profound.
Yeah. Exploration of form and emotion. It's unmistakable.
It is, because his style wasn't just about technique, you know?
Yeah.
It was an extension of his personality, his way of thinking, his very being.
Yeah, and he did it with such swagger.
So much concept.
Such confidence, like he was saying, look what I can do.
Aren't you amazed?
And I am amazed.
Not to be.
Every single time.
He was a true original.
Yeah.
A force of nature who redefined what it means to be an artist.
Totally.
And left an indelible mark on the world.
Okay, but so I think we're starting to get a picture here.
Yeah.
Picasso was more than just a painter. He was a visionary, a
Yeah.
rule breaker, a lover, a fighter, a damn creative machine.
And let's not forget a brand.
Oh yeah, don't forget the brand.
Don't forget the brand.
But how did he manage to become such a cultural phenomenon?
Right.
I mean, he was famous in his own lifetime.
Yeah.
And his fame has just continued to grow.
It has.
What is the secret to his enduring appeal? I mean, we were just talking about how Picasso became like this global icon, like more than an artist, a full-blown brand.
Yeah, it's remarkable how he achieved that level of fame while he was still alive.
Right. It wasn't just the art. It was Picasso the man, the myth,
Yeah.
the whole package.
Right. And I think he understood personal branding
Yeah.
before the internet even existed.
Yeah, totally. Those Breton stripes, that intense stare in all the photographs.
Yeah, he cultivated this image of the rebellious artist.
And people loved it.
And they did, but let's not downplay the art itself. I mean,
Yeah.
it was controversial, boundary pushing.
It forced people to see the world in new ways.
Absolutely. That kind of audacity demands attention.
It's like he was saying, I'm not here to paint pretty pictures. I'm here to shake things up.
Exactly. And remember that fashion blogger, Scott Schumann?
Yeah,
He called Picasso a total stud
he did.
and said he was one of the first artists to truly understand visual branding.
Yeah.
He wasn't just making art, he was shaping culture.
And that influence went way beyond the museums and galleries.
Right.
Think about the Dove of Peace.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it started as a simple image for a peace conference,
Right.
but it became this universal symbol.
That's the Picasso effect in action.
Totally taking a simple concept and charging it with meaning.
Absolutely. And it shows his ability to tap into those deep human emotions and desires.
People saw in Picasso's art a reflection of their own longings.
Right. For peace, for freedom, for a more beautiful and just world.
And they saw in him a symbol of those things.
Yeah.
Here was this guy who stood up to fascism,
Right.
who embraced the bohemian lifestyle, who lived life on his own terms.
Absolutely. He embodied that creative rebellion.
And people connected with that.
They did across cultures, across generations.
And let's be honest, his work was also like intellectually stimulating and visually arresting.
Yeah.
Like, people might not have grasped Cubism right away, but they couldn't deny the power, the energy of those paintings.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he was saying, you don't have to understand it, just feel it.
Right.
And people did, they felt the passion, the innovation, the raw emotion.
And that's what makes truly great art so enduring.
Yeah.
It transcends language. It transcends cultural barriers. It speaks directly to the human soul.
And Picasso's Soul Man, it was a wild ride.
It was.
From those early Blue Period paintings to the chaotic energy of Guernica,
Yeah.
to those playful, almost childlike distortions in his later works, he took us on a journey.
He did a journey through the whole spectrum of human experience.
Totally. And he did it with a boldness and confidence that few artists ever achieve.
That's true.
He wasn't afraid to break the rules, to experiment, to shock, to provoke.
And in doing so, he opened up all these possibilities.
Yeah.
For art, for culture, for the way we see the world.
That are still being explored today.
Absolutely.
So after all this, What's the big takeaway?
I think it's bigger than a single takeaway.
Yeah.
It's a whole kaleidoscope of insights.
Yeah,
It challenges our assumptions.
totally.
It reminds us that creativity knows no bounds.
It's like he's still whispering to us decades after his death.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to break the mold.
Don't be afraid to be different.
Embrace your passions, explore your limits, and never stop creating.
And most importantly, never lose that childlike sense of wonder.
Yeah.
And curiosity, that's where true innovation lies.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Picasso, the man, the myth, the legend.
We laughed, we were challenged, we were inspired.
And that, my friends, is what the deep dive is all about.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep creating.
And if you ever find yourself staring at a blank page, just remember those words of wisdom from the master himself. Everything you can imagine is real.
We'll catch you next time on a deep dive.